Showmates, plenty to discuss on this Thursday, the day before Friday. I'm already feeling the weekend.
Friday Eve, as I like to think of it.
That is it. We're going to talk about the apology from LSU on behalf of one of its star players and Chef Pilar from Next Level Chef. She's bringing her Black excellence to the show today. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. Plus, why Babyface fans aren't too happy with Anita Baker and doing what we can to bring awareness to missing Black and brown people in our community. They're the stories that impact our people.
We're going to bring you our news, our views, and our voice. So let's get into our top conversation for today. It takes us to Philadelphia, where officials are offering a $20,000 reward on information for two escaped prisoners, one charged with multiple homicides. Now, the inmates slipped through a fence hole at a correctional facility, and their absence went unnoticed for almost an entire day. The district attorney's office prioritizes the safety of affected families and witnesses. Questions arise about the missed head counts, prompting demands for accountability. Now, the FBI is also offering a $50,000 reward for information on another escaped inmate.
4 people have been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in the killing of a 24-year-old off-duty Chicago police officer. The suspects approached the officer while she was returning home, engaged in a shootout, stole her weapon, and fled the scene. They're also linked to other crimes and will face additional charges. The Chicago Police Department held a vigil for the fallen officer. City officials expressed condolences and emphasized the need for a safer Chicago. The incident reflects a disturbing trend of increased shootings targeting law enforcement officers.
And now to Detroit, as gun violence continues. A victim of a triple shooting at a Detroit gas station recalls that the gunman threatened to shoot every customer before opening fire. David Langston and his friend Gregory Carlos Samuel Fortner Kelly pleaded with the clerk to unlock the doors, but were shot inside when the door remained locked. Fortner Kelly tragically lost his life in the incident. The suspect, Samuel Anthony McCrae, has been charged with multiple offenses, including first-degree murder. The gas station was later discovered to be unlicensed and has been closed during the investigation. Fortner Kelly's loved ones remember him as a caring and humorous person who always brought laughter to others. The investigation into the case remains ongoing.
And Courtney, it's important to note that the Wayne County prosecutor is piecing this all together and says that McCrae attempted to make a purchase inside the gas station when his card was declined. This all sort of happened over a $3 purchase. To think that there have been so many lives lost over a $3 purchase. This is the epitome of a senseless shooting. If there ever was one. Yeah, and it actually happened last weekend, but of course this story is big enough to where it has stayed, in the headlines, especially here in Detroit. And so, as they continue to dig deep and information continues to come out, you're wondering, is this another mental, episode, or is this like pure, retaliatory? It's something in that nature. We just won't know until the investigation continues and or wraps up. But what it does say, in my opinion, is that, gun violence is and continues to be off the charts, and there are policies and laws that continue to need to be put in place so we can minimize, if not stop, occurrences like this. It is just so taxing to have to report these stories every single day. You're right. And imagine, if he didn't have this weapon, and if his card was declined, if he was having a bad day, right? Okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? He maybe yells or screams or whatever. And walks out. But when folks, have access to weapons, people that have no business having these weapons. That's right. This is the kind of fallout it can lead to. And let's also not forget the store clerk in this story. Why did the store clerk lock the door, right? He locked the door with the gunman inside the store. You had folks pleading with the clerk, please open the door, let him out. I couldn't imagine. And so just as police officers need to engage in de-escalation tactics, I think, shop owners would be well served in getting trained in those sorts of tactics, because as the story read to me, it seemed like that only agitated the gunman. It'll be interesting to see what the investigation finds. Yeah. Well, California Governor Gavin Newsom rejects endorsing $1.2 million in payments to slave descendants proposed by the Reparations Task Force. The proposal, costing up to $800 billion, aims to compensate for historical injustices. Governor Newsom highlights ongoing efforts in voting, law enforcement, and economic equality. The plan will be reviewed by the state legislature, and the national reparations efforts face obstacles in Congress. We want to note that. Public opinion shows that a racial divide exists, with a majority supporting with a majority among black respondents in support. The California proposal targets African-American descendants pre-19th century.
It is hot and heavy in your home state. I mean, there was just a meeting where they are getting into it, folks from both sides. Reparations, yes. I mean, we know the Jewish community continues to be taken care of. I had mentioned a few shows ago, descendants of Hiroshima and the bombing, they have been taken care of, those family members, the heirs, if you will. Why not black folks? Here's my only concern, because everybody is trying to find their way with it, that there could be some folks who get lost in the sauce or fall in the cracks in regards to who should be getting the reparations. I would love more of a collaborative effort, more maybe a federal effort, a nationwide effort, so we have some routine on how these reparations would be dispersed.
Yeah.
It's a lot of splintering here.
But I think also what's really so exciting about this is that there are so many different states and municipalities that are, sort of doing their own study of what reparations might look like in their community. I think that's great. I think the challenge is politically, how do you get this done? How do you get it over the finish line? Governor Gavin Newsom, he set up the Reparations Task Force. He endorsed having a task force to deliver a comprehensive study on what California could do. And so he wasn't starting from this mindset of, I don't support reparations.
Sure.
But it's important to note that polling shows a racial divide in support, as was mentioned in the story. 77% of black people, but 18% of white people support reparations. This is according to Pew Research. And so we have a long way to go in terms of public education around why this is important, why this needs to happen, how it needs to happen, and what difference it would make.
Yeah, we have cities like Evanston, Illinois, I do believe, to where they've actually instituted and done some payouts, if you will. And it, depending on how you feel about it, maybe it fared well, maybe it didn't fare so well. So I think there's a lot to discuss. But yeah, reparations, absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes we fixate on payments, right? I think that's where the wheels come off the bus, right? There are lots of different proposals that the California Reparations Task Force has delivered, including but not limited to payments. And so let's not fixate on that. I know that there's an organization called the California Freedom Fund that's fighting for a $100 million endowment for black organizations. So it's one example among many that is to be considered by the California State Legislature.
Let's go to Florida, where Democrats are urging former NBA players Dwayne Wade or Grant Hill to run against Senator Rick Scott in the 2024 election. Donors believe a strong candidate with star power is needed to challenge Republican dominance in that particular state. However, Wade's recent move out of Florida due to anti-LGBTQ laws poses a hurdle. Grant Hill is seen as a potential candidate with name recognition and fundraising abilities. The discussions reflect concerns about the limited options for Florida Democrats. Wade's decision was influenced by his concerns. His decision to leave Florida was made by his decisions to protect his transgender daughter.
Well, there's lots of talent out there in Florida, Courtney. If people are looking for star power, don't forget about people like Layla Ali, who was born in Miami. Don't forget about people like Primetime, Coach Primetime. Deion Sanders was born in Fort Myers, Florida, right? And so there are a lot of people with star power, that have not been shy about making political statements. That, dare I say, come from families who have historically made political statements. But let's not get so fixated on famous people, right? Val Demings just ran a really solid campaign for Senate in Florida. Have we understood, why she didn't get through the finish line, and is there an opportunity to put her up again, for example?
She's definitely, for me, for Florida, would be a front runner and on the top of my list. But that, celebrity or not, of course, Val Demings, a career, politician. But for an ask like that from somebody who's more celebrity based, because you know the name, that is a huge ask and a huge undertaking. And you are putting it all on the line. The way your life is opened up even more. You would think with them being celebrities that their life is very public, but that political game is downright dirty and filthy. And I'm sure maybe Wade and Grant Hill appreciate the fact that people think of them in this nature, but that's a tough decision and a hard ask. And I would hope that they wouldn't be too quick to throw their hat in the ring, if you will.
It's a hard ask, but there's a lot happening in the state of Florida that is negatively impacting Black folks, and so folks are being called on to serve. Hopefully, they take the call. But it's really important to note that Florida. There's a lot happening there that's going to make a big difference on the lives of Black folks for generations. Yeah. And so I think that's worthy of their consideration.
But let's make sure we're calling on the, I don't want to say right, but maybe proper and appropriate folks, because just like that Herschel Walker thing was a disaster for the Republicans, the wrong person in that running on that Democratic ticket can be just as disastrous.
But there are
Republicans. You just can't be calling people just to be calling people. Say, hey.
But there are Republicans that don't think Herschel Walker was a disaster. And keep in mind, Herschel Walker, Larry Elder, Carrie Lake. I mean, the Republicans have figured out, to put up people with a little bit of star power, and look at how close they're getting, to actually winning these elections. And so I think Democrats would be wise, to tap on the shoulder of people that are better known. They don't necessarily have to be celebrities, but people that are well known, that have a connection to these states.
Disaster in the sense of what came out of that man's closet as he continued to run. That's what I'm saying.
Well, off to D.C., where the Senate Judiciary Committee has asked billionaire Harlan Crow to disclose gifts given to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. The committee is investigating undisclosed payments in real estate transactions involving Justice Thomas and his family. Similar requests were sent to the holding companies associated with Crow's private jet and yacht. Crow's representatives have not yet commented, but the committee aims to strengthen ethics rules for Supreme Court justices and has requested the information by May 22nd.
All right, to some sports news here. LSU women's basketball player and rapper Flau'jae Johnson sparked controversy with a now deleted video where she referenced the 9/11 attacks in her lyrics. The university issued a statement expressing Johnson's remorse, and the video was taken down. Now, despite the incident, Johnson has a promising music career and has gained attention from rapper Lil Wayne. Her dad was a rapper who made some noise before his unfortunate death, and she was also, if I'm not mistaken, on America's Got Talent and fared very well. So she's rapping even maybe before the whole basketball thing.
Yeah, I mean, clearly multi-talented. And what I appreciate about her is that, she was willing to listen and learn and decide differently, right? And so she was not born when 9/11 happened.
Right.
And so, her understanding of 9/11 wasn't the same as those of us who lived through it. And so her willingness to listen to folks who were alive then and could offer some more context, after she learned more about it, she took the video down and she was incredibly apologetic. And I think, that is the sign of a real leader.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you just a little bit. There are so many resources, namely just Google, and I'm thinking her village around her, who were probably very grown when 9/11 happened. You're writing these lyrics. It takes a lot to go from the pen and paper to the recording studio and it being, produced and put out there. I'm just concerned about the checks and balances. Sometimes we have to hold our own feet to the fire and be accountable and work on a need to know basis. I remember being very young in the industry. I made a mistake on air and gave away $10,000 versus the $100 I was supposed to give away. And I was like, well, I didn't know. And my boss was like, you need to operate on a need-to-know basis because you are going to be held accountable. And I don't know, I just come from a whole different generation to whereas that's what it was all about.
But you know what? But she is young, and maybe this is her teachable moment.
Okay.
Right. And so just how you had that moment, maybe this is that moment for her. And again, you know, the statement that she put out read as very apologetic, and it seems that she took it down very quickly. And so, you know, good for her. And there are a lot of people that still say she has a bright future.
Oh, absolutely, she does.
Yeah.
She can rap and play ball. Absolutely.
Well, actor Jonathan Majors appeared in a New York City court facing a revised domestic violence charge. The charge was modified to reflect the perspective of his accuser, who is cooperating with authorities. Majors did not enter a plea during the brief arraignment, his lawyer maintaining his innocence and criticized the prosecution as a witch hunt. Majors still faces other misdemeanor charges related to his arrest. The U.S. Army pulled commercials featuring Majors due to the allegations, and Majors must attend an in-person hearing in June or risk a possible arrest warrant. The case faces a challenge motion filed by Majors' attorney, and a protection order remains in effect.
Oh, just such a gray area, you know. Innocent until proven guilty first and foremost. So I really somewhat, unless they have some information we don't know about, you know, these folks, you know, pulling up from him, management, PR folks, the projects and so on and so forth. So that's unfortunate, especially as the alleged victim kind of changed her story a little bit and retracted some of what she had said. You know, folks are saying, well, maybe she was coerced or I don't know. But I know that in the court of public opinion, this man has already been prosecuted, if you will, and it's just very unfortunate. It
is very unfortunate, though we've seen this plenty of times before, particularly when it comes to black men of note. You know, the prosecutor said that the charge was rewritten to reflect the perspective of Major's 30-year-old accuser. This is even after the police officer sort of offered a written account of what happened. And so I just thought that was really strange. You know, police officers aren't often very friendly to black folks, particularly black men. We don't have the most positive encounters. And so, you know, it's interesting that the police officer's account wasn't enough. And so instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of what the woman had put up, the DA adjusted the charges. I just think that's strange. And that is a point of contention that Jonathan Majors' lawyer has raised. And so we'll continue to follow the case. But for all of our soulmates out there that are lawyers, if you know something that we don't know, you know, get in the chat and let us know.
Well, you know what, I hear you on that and point taken, but a lot of times when it involves us, a lot of strange things have a tendency to happen.
Funny how that happens? I wonder why.
Still ahead, don't book your summer vacation just yet. Hold on, soulmates. Hold on, we got something for you.
That's right. We'll tell you the best and worst airlines of the year when we return. FOXSOUL's Black Report. Welcome back to FOXSOUL's Black Report. Well, Florida Democratic Senator Bobby Powell remains determined to combat hair discrimination and change societal perceptions.
So despite multiple unsuccessful attempts, Powell introduced legislation in the state Senate to outlaw hair discrimination in public education. The nationwide Crown Act campaign, which aims to eliminate bias against Afrocentric hairstyles, has been approved in several states and the U.S. House.
That's right. Dove's research highlights the challenges faced by black women in the workplace due to hair discrimination. Powell is committed to continuing the mission despite setbacks.
All right. Meanwhile, as more trans users and other marginalized groups feel as if Twitter has changed for the worse, they're heading to a new social platform. It's called Blue Sky, and it's still in beta mode, but it's being considered the alternative to Twitter. It's even backed by the former CEO of Twitter, a guy by the name of Jack Dorsey. The platform allows users to post text and images to a central feed, follow others, and repost. However, you can't message others just yet or block any users. However, to get access, you have to be invited. Very interested in me, Cordelai.
It is very interesting. It's exciting, you know, that we have an alternative to the Twitter dumpster fire that we've watched in front of our own eyes as Elon Musk has taken control and really he undid a lot of the protections
right.
That users had, and unfortunately, Twitter has become sort of a source of a lot of white supremacy and a lot of homophobic and transphobic hate masquerading as free speech. It's important to note that in 2018, Black Americans accounted for 28% of Twitter users. You know how many Black folks were on Twitter as of last spring?
How many?
5%.
You better give us the statistics.
5%, right? And so, I think that's a significant drop. It doesn't happen by itself. And so Black Twitter will reemerge. It will reemerge on places like Blue Sky, and even places like Spill.
It's going to reemerge on the lighter side of the conversation. It's going to reemerge because something or somebody always has next. Ask Clubhouse. Ask, I'm going to do it for the Vine. I ain't going to do it. Ask Snapchat. I know people still use that, but just think about the innovation, and there's always something or somebody, like I said, that's going to have next. So Black Twitter will be fine. We just have to find what that next platform is going to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
Will you be on?
I don't even know what the platform is, so this story is very new to me.
Okay.
But I'll go and do some Googling and research.
Explore.
But I feel like I'm on enough already. I can't do no more. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I don't even do my TikTok. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, TikTok's a lot going on. You have to really be invested in TikTok.
You do. Because
Right?
I didn't even know TikTok, it has to be a video. I thought I could just do, but no, TikTok is, I didn't know. So no, I won't be on anything else. So God bless us all.
All right, well, mortgage lenders Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will have new upfront loan fees that will impact home buyers of all credit scores. Housing experts say some are concerned because the fees penalize buyers with higher credit scores and reward those with lower scores. But ultimately, the lenders say it's to make home ownership more equitable. But experts say, in fact, someone without a good score will still pay less in fees than someone with a lower credit score. It's just that gap is narrowed more than in the past.
Okay, I guess that's good news. Soulmates, as you book flights this summer, there's a new travel report highlighting the best and the worst airlines. Topping the list, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Southwest, Delta, and JetBlue. But here are the lowest. The report says steer clear of Frontier, Spirit, and American Airlines. American Airlines is one of the big three. Now listen up. Alaska Airlines was among the best for premium economy seats, but among the worst airlines for first and business class flyers. Who's going to Alaska? Companies like Spirit didn't rank in that section as they don't have first or business class, but instead they have these larger front seats that you can, don't you have to bid for them or something like that? Don't you have to put in a bid?
Who has a larger front seat?
Spirit does, I think, have a larger front seat selection, but you have to bid on it. But let me tell you, as far as economy is concerned, I got in a clutch one time, and I enjoyed JetBlue. I had a great experience.
JetBlue's cool.
I didn't have to pay for snacks. They had some TVs.
Could you recline in your seat?
Seats recline back. I enjoyed JetBlue.
On some of these airlines, I ain't gonna call you out, Spirit. Oh yeah, but you can't recline your seat. Yeah.
But back in the day, for me, Southwest was my jam because I could get back and forth from here to Chicago for like $99 round trip. Southwest was beautiful. And then you could sit anywhere. Your bags fly free, but now the flight patterns really don't do anything for me. But you fly all the time. Who do you prefer?
I fly all the time. I prefer Delta and American, but just because I got a lot of points on American. American, y'all need to improve your service, right? Y'all need to, y'all need to go to the school of Virgin America because to me, in terms of customer service, that is where it's at. Delta's really come up. I'm really comfortable with Delta. There's a big hub here in Detroit.
People forget about United, though. I had to fly a United
flight. But them Delta tickets be too
expensive,
expensive, by the way.
Delta is pricey.
Double the price.
Well, the big three are pricey. But I'm saying JetBlue was
if you're going to be pricey for a reason.
Yeah.
For a good reason.
And Spirit, did you see them? The lady recording them putting some tape on the the wing. He was using some duct tape or something.
You know, look,
for some people, Spirit works.
I'm not gonna hate on Spirit too much. I will say I took a Spirit flight from LA to Philadelphia once because that was the only time I could get to where I needed to get to.
My entire backside was numb. That seat is really thin.
Won't do it again because this is where Spirit gets you. Everything is a la carte.
That's
You're
right.
gonna pay extra for luggage, whether you carry it on or not.
How did
you
not
want a
know?
bottle of water, you parch, you're gonna spend some money on Spirit. Can I recline my chair? That's going to be extra on the Spirit.
And you may become one too if they have mechanical difficulties. Up next, placing the importance on finding our Black and missing.
That's right. Natalie Wilson from the Black and Missing Foundation joins us with a mother who is searching to find her missing son. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, Soulmates. Pretty important discussion here, so I want you to definitely listen up. Black Americans go missing at a disproportionate rate compared to other races. Now, that's according to the National Crime Information Center. Last year alone, out of approximately 546,000 people reported missing, 36% of those were Black. Joining us now to shine a light and awareness to the Black and missing in this country is Natalie Wilson, co-founder of Black and Missing Foundation, and Corlita Johnson, the mother of the Otis Harris. We will listen to her story as well. Thank you both for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, welcome back, Natalie. We talk a lot about Black women who are missing, but talk to us about the Black missing male and what some of the similarities and differences are when they go missing.
Yes, so a population that we haven't been talking about are Black males that are missing, and their cases are typically under the radar. When we first started the organization, there were more missing Black men than women and children. And, you know, typically when our men are reported missing, they're classified as being a thug or seen as being a thug, a criminal, and a burden on society. And what we're trying to do is to change the narrative that these are our fathers, our brothers, our sons that are missing, and they deserve the same level of media coverage and law enforcement resources to be found.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Mother Corlita, let me bring you into the conversation. We see the milk cartons, we see the flyers, we see the billboards, but tell us about your son, Otis. What would you want us to know about your son?
He was a well-educated, intelligent, great son, person. You know, he loved everyone, did anything for anyone. He was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, just well-educated, great, and all of that.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful kid to even have, you know, and God blessed me with him. So, you know, very wonderful.
Indeed. Tell us a little bit about his case, some of the circumstances surrounding, as much as you can share. How long has Otis, how long has he been missing?
He's been missing, next month on the 16th will be 2 years. Truck was found in Aspermont, Texas, a little small town, about 919 people. One dog was found, the other dog was killed. And we're just waiting. I finally got bank records. We finally got some bank records. So they're going really slow, but it's starting to come all the way through. So we're trying to I'm just praying that something comes through. You know, for his case, because I won't stop looking.
Sure. How helpful, or maybe not helpful, have authorities been for you and your family?
Really not that helpful. If I didn't pressure them, if I would have stopped, they probably would have stopped. So I stay on them. I call them every week, at least twice a week. I just stay on them. But you know, I won't stop. I don't care. I'm gonna keep calling. Y'all gonna give me something.
That's right.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We can definitely understand that, and your strength, you know, speaks volumes to, you know, a mother's love, and we thank you for sharing your son with us today, Natalie. How helpful, you know, we just heard Mother Corlita speak. How helpful, you know, are the police and media and the community when we are looking for the Black and missing, whether male or female or child, an adult? How helpful? Do they have a tendency to be or not to be?
Well, we've come a long way as an organization, but the media, law enforcement, our community, we have to do a better job in shouting out about these cases and bringing exposure to it, because someone knows something, and we all need to get involved to help solve these cases. They cannot continue to go under the radar. So again, like shows like this, segments like this, is shedding a light on Eotis's case. And we hope that someone recognizes him or knows something about the case, and they can contact our organization anonymously to help find him, or contact law enforcement to help bring him home.
Yeah, we have a picture of him on our screen now, missing since 6/16/2021. Either Mother Corlita or Natalie, do you all have any leads, any more information on his whereabouts? Let's talk a little bit about, his physical self, what he looked like, 2 years ago in comparison to what maybe he might look like now. Any pieces of information you all can leave us with today?
Well, Eotis was a big guy, 5'10", about 305 pounds, and he was last seen in Fort Worth, Texas, or close to Aspermont, which is a very small community. So someone, again, knows something as to what happened to Eotis.
Yeah. Ms. Natalie, if someone needs your help, your organization's help, and or support, how can they get in contact with the Black and Missing Foundation?
So please go to our website at bamfi.org. If you have a loved one who's missing, please reach out to us. Or if you know of someone, if you have information about a case, please also reach out to us at bamfi.org to help us find us.
Yeah. And Mother Corlita, any words that you'd like to leave us with as we come together as a community, as a village, to help support you in finding out what happened to Eotis, your son, your loved one? Anything you want to leave us with?
Somebody's out there that knows something, and I just want them to come and just tell us. Someone has to know something. He wouldn't just leave like this. So if you know something, like Natalie said, you can be anonymous. We just want to find Trey and bring him home, which is Eotis. I'm sorry, bring Eotis home, where he needs to be, where he's missed. And my motto is that somebody knows something, and I hope it gets on their heart that they come forward and let us know something. Again, stay anonymous. It's fine. We just need to find him and bring him home.
Mother Corlita, I heard you. Is he also known as Trey? That might be an important piece of information as well.
He is a third. I'm sorry. It's Eotis Harris the third.
Gotcha.
We do call him Trey.
Okay.
So yes, he is known by Trey as well.
That's important to know. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. Natalie, we just treasure this partnership in hopes that we can get some results. Remember, if you see something, say something, soulmates, and we have the number on the screen. It's 877-972-2634. Miss Corlita, we're praying for you. And Natalie, thank you so much for this partnership, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much.
Sad news to report. Pioneering mezzo-soprano Grace Bumbry has died.
Yeah, Bumbry became the first Black singer to perform at Germany's Bayreuth Festival during a career of more than 3 decades on the world's top stages. Wow.
Bumbry died Sunday at a hospital in Vienna, according to her publicist. She was 86 years old.
And absolutely stunning and beautiful and just a gorgeous voice. I thought I wanted to, graduate from high school and become a famous singer. I was going to move to New York. My daddy said, yeah, New York, Michigan State, East Lansing University. But I studied opera, Leontine Price, Jesse Norman, Marian Anderson, Kathleen Battle. I mean, that list is long and heavy, and this woman here definitely belongs in that group. And I feel like we are losing a generation, and so really we're going to have to be tasked and assigned to living in those legacies, remembering them, and cherishing the body of work that they leave behind.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible gift to music, and for those that knew her, her spirit continues on through us.
And for you aspiring singers, I know you might not be in the opera, but study it, because it's the technique. It's the technique that's going to get you over when you're trying to sing them songs.
What was her specialized technique? Did she have one?
Well, she was a mezzo soprano, but she just her voice was the technique.
And for the people that don't know the difference,
there's different rankings in soprano, so she was like right there.
Okay, like right in the middle. Okay. The more you know.
The more you know, the better you're supposed to do.
That's right.
Up next, she's catered the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, you name it, Chef Pilar Omega.
That's right. She's in the last stretch of Next Level Chef. And she's joining us to talk about it right here, right now. It's Fox Soul's Black Report. We'll be right back.
Next up, we have Cornish game hen. The chef grabbed brandy for their alcohol. It's finished with roasted potato and also a plantain mash.
Delicious. This individual is plating like an angel. It's plating that we're used to seeing in the finale.
And that's exactly where she's landed, in the finals. Welcome back to Fox Soul's Black Report. Chef Pilar Omega is in the running of becoming America's Next Level Chef.
Yes, she's in the finale. It's going to air tonight on Fox, and it's the style, it's attention to detail, the training that has taken her this far. We want to welcome my Detroit homegirl, Chef Pilar Omega, to Fox Soul's Black Report. Hey there.
Hey, Chef Pilar, how you doing?
I'm nervous, excited, all of the emotions that comes along with this 2-hour season finale that we have today.
That's all right. That's all right. So many of us are rooting for you. And so tell us, Chef Pilar, we learned from the show that you've worked with some pretty big names. You've worked on some pretty big events. How did you get started? And just tell us what your origin story is.
Well, I'm a native Detroiter. I went to Wayne State University, studied nutrition and food science, and I found myself in the kitchen. And I moved to Los Angeles with the hopes of just becoming a chef. And somehow I ended up in Wolfgang Puck Catering. I had no idea what I was about to embark on, what journey was before me. And I was able to do all the biggest, fabulous events year after year, the Oscars, the Emmys, ESPY Awards, movie premieres, fabulous $1 million weddings, you name it, I was a part of it.
Wow, talk about getting and staying in alignment with your purpose and your gifts and your talents, so that you've had this incredible journey and it has led you to Next Level Chef. Talk a little bit about this opportunity and how it came about.
Well, I actually applied for season 1.
Okay.
And I obviously didn't get a call back. And I just decided to just try one more time. So I applied for season 2, and it was a very long casting process, like about 6 months of just interviews and doctor's notes and physicals. And after 6 months, they finally called and said, you made it, and you have to be ready to film in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Well, you clearly you got that call and you were ready.
Clearly.
You were ready.
Stay ready.
I know that's right.
Because when you stay ready, you ain't got to what?
Get ready.
Come on now.
Interview over, drop mic. It's a wrap.
So Chef Pilar, we notice a lot of you chefs on the show talk about the pressure of the food grab. What's that like? Explain it to those who may not understand the concept of the food grab.
The platform is terrifying. Number one, you don't know what's going to be on the platform. You have no control of the ingredients, and it's like blinders. It's 30 seconds, but you really only see what's right in front of you. There are times when stuff will make it to another floor, another level, and you're like, I didn't even see that protein, or I didn't even see that vegetable. It's so intense. And then you have these 3 amazing mentors that the extra pressure on top of the way the show is set up, the competition, it was intense.
It is so physical and so chaotic, a lot of confusion. And I'll be like, hey, watch my girl now. Hold on. I mean, no wonder you had to take physicals and blood tests and give up your first board and carrying on. Listen, Chef Pilar, we have a clip so the soulmates can actually see what happens. It's from earlier this season, and we think it's very fitting now that you have made it to the finale. So let's all take a look here.
Pilar, talk to me about your ingredients.
I have squid. My vision is a Frito misto with the coconut curry sauce.
Why are you here today?
I'm here to prove that with dedication and passion, you can make it places like here. I'm ready.
I see it in your eyes, girl. You look fierce. You're gonna leave here with $250,000.
No other choice.
I believe in you.
No other way.
We love that. I'm hungry now, by the way.
I know that coconut curry sounds good right about now.
Yeah, baby. We know everything you do is for your beautiful daughter. Talk about what this will mean for you and her, if you were to walk away as the next level chef.
It would mean the world to me. The catering industry, culinary industry is very demanding. So I've had to make a lot of sacrifices. And this would just prove that they were all worth the sacrifice. Nothing went in vain. And just being on the show, for me, getting recognition is already proven that my hard work and sacrifice hasn't gone in vain.
It certainly has. We really enjoy watching you.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's next for Chef Pilar? Are you coming home to Detroit to open a restaurant or what? People want to know.
No pressure, no pressure.
There's so much in store. It's so many opportunities coming my way. I'm excited to do some things in Detroit. I'm excited to start launching a brand, work on a cookbook. Just all the things that I've been wanting to work on. I felt like I didn't have the platform. I was just like this hidden gem in the culinary world. And now I feel like I finally get recognition and I'm discovered as, up and coming chef.
Yeah, we will definitely be watching tonight. Before we let you go, you mentioned you've done $1 million weddings. I know sometimes they don't like you talking about it. What's it called, an NDA? But it is wedding season. Could you maybe share with us whose wedding you've catered, or maybe the best tips when it comes to trying to find the best caterer for your occasion? Either or maybe a little both on that. We'd love to hear who are some of your favorite celebrity weddings that you've catered.
I obviously did sign NDAs, but I will say the most fabulous wedding was at the Dolby, where they do the Oscars. This couple had over $2 million worth of flowers. And I was just like, oh my God. I think for any event, it's just finding a caterer or event stylist that aesthetically is what you want. It goes for what your style is. Every event is different. You can follow your own lane. That's the best part about catering, is you have the option to just create the experience that you want your guests to have.
Yeah, I was asking DeCordala to ask you how we can link up and follow and stay in touch with you on social media. That's what I was trying to tell you before they flip the camera back.
Go ahead and ask her, Courtney.
I am on all platforms, Chef Pilar Omega. I got content coming. You can see my journey from the beginning, some of my old content from when I was coming up in the industry. So you can really see, my first YouTube that I did 12 years ago.
Wow.
That's still getting views. So, it's been a journey. It's been progression. And I'm just excited to just be now recognized for all the hard work you put in. Because sometimes you're just in the kitchen and no one knows who you are. And, it feels good to finally hear judges of that level, Gordon Ramsay, Richard Blais, and Aisha Arrington, giving me those compliments. That was the best part.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we're excited to do our part to make sure that more people know about you and are rooting for you tonight. But I've got to ask you real quick, for those who may not be advanced culinary geniuses like yourself, are there some basic tips that you would offer to folks out there who may not have the money to be able to have a pricey meal somewhere, but at home want to attempt to give their loved one the Chef Pilar experience?
Is that personal? That sounds like a personal question, Nicola.
All about the flavors. It's all about flavors. Just up your seasoning game, up your sauces. Even if there's, store-bought, that's fine. Add some butter to everything and it's better.
Oh,
and just cooking with love.
Butter makes it better. Butter does.
When you cook with love, everybody feels it. So any effort with love it's good. It'll be a good dinner.
Yeah. Well, we love you. Best of luck tonight. Peace and blessings. We'll be watching out. Chef Pilar, thank you so much for joining us today. You're an official soulmate. We'll definitely have you back. That's for sure.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Indeed.
Jay-Z is heading to the Supreme Court, y'all, but it isn't to fight for justice. Jay-Z his alleged son is taking his paternity battle to the highest court in the land. His name is Ramir Satterthwaite, and he says all he wants to do is live his life when it's all said and done, and hopes Jay-Z wants to be in his life. Ramir, his mother, claims to have had sex with Jay-Z in the 1990s and reportedly has been in this custody battle since 2012. Why now?
If he is the dad, why not now?
Well, I mean, if they've been engaged in this custody battle since 2012, it's now 2023.
Well,
that's over 10 years, and so
that's my whole point, is as to the fact that he's just so adamant about Jay-Z being his dad. I mean, at some point, you'd be like, dude, give it up. But he seems to be pretty adamant, and we took a look at that side by side. I'm like, whoa.
I don't know. I mean, I wonder, why did he wait till Beyonce went on her Renaissance World Tour before he decided to call Jay-Z out like this publicly?
Wasn't it fabulous? Did you see some of the clips?
The timing of this, I'm not so sure of this.
I'm gonna need soulmates to keep posting because I showed up didn't pay all that money for a ticket, but it looked fabulous.
I actually want soulmates to stop posting because some of us are gonna see her in the fall and we don't want to see the whole show.
Well, for those who wanted to see Babyface, it was a problem. Auntie Anita Baker fans aren't so happy with the singer after her recent concert. The music legend was so late to the Prudential Center in Jersey that Babyface didn't even get a chance to perform. As many hits as Babyface has, Babyface took to Twitter to apologize to the fans, saying that Anita's team wanted her to do her entire performance and that he had his full band wishes, him and his full band wishes they could have performed. No word on plans to make good on this performance. Oh, no.
I mean, what was this all about? I don't know.
I'm so surprised.
It feels like there was some ego involved, right? Because if you have Babyface and a whole band that's ready there to perform, if you're running late, let them perform, right? I mean, Anita Baker is a legend. She's a genius,
iconic,
right? And so she ain't got nothing to prove, and it's okay to have more than one musical genius on a stage at a time, right? And for a lot of people, let me just say, this was triggering, because it reminded them of, the old days when Luther Vandross and Anita were on tour
together.
And apparently things went left.
Sometimes we just don't have the full story of what may have happened, or why she was so late. But definitely should have let Babyface go ahead and keep that audience together while she made her way to the venue.
Yeah, and especially if that's what the audience is expecting. If they were expecting Babyface, it'd be one thing if Babyface was like a surprise performance, but they were expecting Babyface.
They could probably get a refund, right?
And they're asking for a refund
because they only got a half of a show. Yeah, I know they are, but I'm saying they should. I mean, they should be able to. That was just a half of a show. As expensive as these tickets are, but y'all keep posting Beyonce. She'll be later on this summer back here in America. Posting because I did not, put up my mortgage payment to go see Bey. I love her too. Beehive, I love her. But y'all keep posting them. That's how I'm gonna see this show.
Up next, y'all already know what it is. It's Black Excellence.
We'll tell you how the legacy of Carter G. Woodson, a museum in Florida, is being kept intact. You're watching FOXSOUL's Black Report.
Welcome back to FOXSOUL's Black Report. With Florida being one of the states passing restrictions on how African American history is taught, there's one group bringing back a tactic used during the Civil Rights Movement. The Carter G. Woodson Museum in St. Petersburg is determined to keep African American history alive.
That's it. The St. Petersburg chapter of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History says the organization is staying out of the woke debate and focusing on just teaching, stating that, quote, all children need to learn about Black Americans' ability to overcome mistreatment, enslavement, brutality, lynchings, mass incarceration, and discrimination of every kind.
Amen. The association will teach classes at the museum on everything from slavery to the civil rights movement, the Civil War, emancipation and Reconstruction, and segregation.
Yeah, so freedom schools, back in the day were formulated to kind of address literacy in the Black community. You fast forward, and now, with this chapter of that organization, they're like, let's flip the script and let's task ourselves with teaching this history. And that's pretty bold because they are down in Florida, and we know what's happening in Florida. But the classes, which, stem from the Freedom School, the classes will be taught primarily to young people, but I'm sure they're open to everybody to learn, and all young people. And so it's a great effort, especially in the midst of what's happening in Florida right now.
And it's a great opportunity for people to do something, to channel this frustration that we feel. It feels almost like day in and day out in terms of challenges around Black history and Black humanity, to channel that into supporting freedom schools in a community near you. I know in Los Angeles, there's a freedom school that Community Coalition hosts every summer. There are freedom schools everywhere across the country. And so get your kid enrolled in the freedom school, volunteer some time to support a freedom school in a community near you.
Yeah, and it's a great continued salute to Carter G. Woodson and his platform and what he was able to birth and his vision and legacy that continues to live on through these freedom schools. It really is a good look.
When we say we celebrate Black history every day, right, this is one of the ways in which people celebrate Black history every day through these freedom schools.
All right, for a full rundown on today's stories and more, you can access Fox Soul's video on demand. You see them here on the screen: Roku, Tubu, Twitch, Caffeine, Vizio, all of them, honey. You can even access past shows and other Black-centered content. Don't forget to download the Fox Soul app. It's absolutely free. I'm Courtney Hicks.
Right. I'm Nicola Corte. And until next time, everybody, on behalf of everybody here at Fox Soul. Everybody's. Here at Fox Soul's Black Report. Stay lifted.
And stay safe.
She's so silly.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Amen.